RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Hello. This is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. And don't we need more of that? Yes, we meet here every Friday evening at, well, usually a little earlier. Now it's, well, if you're listening on the podcast, it doesn't matter, but we're usually around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to, if you want to hang out in the greatest chat room in American history, come on over to youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster to keep us company. Get to know us. I'm merging all my plugs in my mind, and they're all coming out. They all want to come out of my mouth at the same time. Like I was going to say, become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin to keep the show going and growing. Oh, and that reminds me, I received a nice little note from somebody. Not sure how they got my address, but okay. Makes me, as long as they're nice and don't want to scoop my eyes out with a teaspoon or something. Okay, good. But thank you, Greg, for your generous money order. I got a money order from Greg to keep the show going and growing. And also a little note. 1, I would like to make a donation. 2, enclose, please find a money order. Thank you very much. And 3, I really like your show. Thank you. From Greg. Thank you so much, Greg. I mean, just the fact that you went to, that you went to the trouble of doing that, to getting a money order, to writing a note, putting it in the mail. All that stuff takes time out of your life, and it means a lot to me because that just says, we're on the right track. We're in this together. I'm not alone. We're not out here screaming into the wind. We have each other. And it really does keep me, keeps my, my brain from not going into a dark place, knowing that people are out there and it matters. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you took time to do that, and especially, the practical support of the show and also your kind words. So thank you so much, Greg. And who else do we got? I see Jim in the chat. Nice to see you, Jim. Thank you for your super chat. And thank you, Richard W., for your super chat, where the chat is looking, not too many people in there yet, but they'll show up as they usually do. This is the problem with, of course, not having a daily show at a set time, and also me not being able to get my act together in time. So yeah, it's fluctuates. It's kind of annoying. What happened tonight was that when I went to go on the air, I had to restart my computer, and it took a long time to start it back up. It was really annoying. It was really goddamn annoying. And there's Mark. Mark, thank you so much for your super chat. Mark C. in the chat. Nice to see ya. Mark writes, we're on the edge, kids. Less than 25 days to save democracy. Do whatever you can to save this broken land. Yes, and let's just really, let's just get into it, and I'll do the plugs along the way as I remember them. So, okay, did you guys? So here's the other thing. I wasn't able to do a show this week because of my schedule, and it was really chaos this entire week. So I have to apologize for that. Usually want to do at least one show during the week. I've been slammed, and I don't mean, that sexually. So just slammed. I haven't been able to breathe, to tell you the truth. It's been a lot, and especially with the kittens. I still have the kittens that were rescued, and they're coming along nicely. They have forever homes. They'll be gone the week of the 24th. Something like that, a couple of weeks. So that'll be good to get them out of my house so I can sleep. Finally get a good night's sleep. I haven't had a good night's sleep in a month or 2 months now with them. They keep me up half the night. Because when I want to go to sleep, they want to start playing. No, they don't play with me, though. That's the thing. They're still, still sussing it out, but they're good. They're good. All right. Yes. Did you see? So here's my impression. The January 6th hearing, and the supposedly last one. I heard a rumor that there might be another one in November, but I'm not sure where I heard that from. I thought it was from one of the members of the committee. I suppose they keep it open, and they should. I believe they should have another one. Wrap it all up. And of course, this one focused on the mob boss, on Trump. Yes, traitor cookie. What did I write? Yeah, something. What did I call the show? Arrest that. What did I write? Oh, that traitor witch already. Yes, it's like a new brand of cookie. No, I wish, right? But because he's always crying witch hunt, and of course that's what he did. So the committee subpoenaed him. They want to hear from him. But hey, you could open your fat face in front of your disgusting Nuremberg rally crowd. Why? What's the problem? Wouldn't you want to clear it up? If you were so robbed, so unceremoniously, but when a sacred election was stolen so viciously from you, you piece of dirt, wouldn't you want to clear it up? Where's your proof? Where's the the smoking gun? Unbelievable. Yes, and Trump Jr. is a traitor, Todd. Exactly. They're all traitors. So thank you, Mark C, on the chat for that observation. Yes, they're traitors. But watching this yet another hearing, and here are my impressions. It never gets better. We never hear anything or see anything. There's never any proof that Republicans are decent people, in the very least, right? For example, let's just start here with Steve Scalise. You see, they're all monstrosities, Republicans. They really are. And they don't have a shred of integrity amongst the entire crowd. And of course, everyone is saying how Mike Pence, when it counted, he didn't cross the line into full-on lick-spittle autocrat, right? Good. Well, that's the least you could do. You did your job. Oh, congratulations. You did the thing you are supposed to do, right? We're supposed to, I guess, commend Republicans for doing the thing they're supposed to do. Okay, great. And these are the people who are standing in the breach against authoritarianism. And I frankly, I wish this January 6th committee would have a hearing, another primetime hearing in the least, right before Election Day, just to wrap it up. Because that's what's hanging in the balance here. When the inflation numbers came out, maybe 2 days ago now, I thought, oh, great, wonderful. Because as you can hear with corporate media, the tone begins to change. They stop talking about the treason and the coup, the ongoing coup, and they fall back into the pattern of enabling Republicans and they enable them by treating them as if they're serious, as if they have any interest in maintaining a functioning democracy, as if they're serious candidates. I mean, this is why we're here, This is how we got here, treating Sarah Palin like she's a serious candidate because they nominated her. Right? Putting aside the fact that she has no business being anywhere near the halls of power, that's for sure. But, hey, they nominated her, and then the media has to be fair and both sides, right? Both sides. Somebody said, actually, there was a post on the Tarabuster Facebook page and the Instagram page. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Instagram. Scam. Bing, bong, boom, bing. Instagram. I just made that song up. Can you believe it? Ugh. So one of the posts, it's just a cartoon, and it says, I gotta get it on my phone. Instagram. Minstacam. Come on down and Instagram. All right, here we go. Bring your kitties. Oh, right, here comes the music. This is Tara Devlin, Tarabuster, unapologetic liberal talk. That's right. All right, we're back. So here's something that was posted on the Tarabuster Instagram page. Let's see if you can see it. It's not really coming out right. Yeah, it's Freddy Krueger. Yeah, it's kind of glary, I guess. Freddy Krueger is holding a sign that says F. Krueger for Republican Senator. And then the couple on his left say, "Who cares about his past? He'll protect us from Democrats," right? So, and we know the gist of the cartoon is that these Republicans, integrity is an afterthought, or decency, being a decent human being, that's an afterthought. The hypocrisy is the need for power is the only agenda. That's on the agenda, period. And also, destroying democracy. That's right up there. But someone responded. Then the Democrats will trot out Jeffrey Dahmer because at least he's not as bad as Krueger. The parties work in sync. Get the fuck out of here. Now, I said something to this. Did I respond to this person? I don't know. I might not have had the time. But I want to say, well, who? Who do you have in mind? Who is the Democratic Krueger or Jeffrey Dahmer? Would any Democratic candidate, were they the same as inept as Herschel Walker or any one of them, spreading bullshit, spreading lies like Ron Johnson, telling people that mouthwash cures COVID, shit like that, to the point where we live in a developed country, right? Supposedly, but we're in the midst of a coup, and over 1 million have died from the coronavirus, which is a freaking disgrace, frankly. So, but that's because of propaganda, lies from the con man, and obviously these people are in a cult. And the bottom line really is that propaganda works. This is why we are where we are, and this is why the liberal media is so important. I mean, really, that's the bottom line. The other thing that came out in the hearings, we've been discussing it all along too, is how deep the conspiracy went. Why Mike Pence wouldn't get in the limo for the Secret Service to take him out of the Capitol compound. Because he was afraid that they would whisk him away somewhere and he wouldn't be able to fulfill his job, do his job. And because he was afraid that, and he was probably right, that they're in on the coup. And that was the plot all along, was to throw it to the states and then have some kind of constitutional crisis. And then when you throw it to the House, the Republicans automatically had more votes than the Democrats. And then there you go. Trump is the goddamn king of America, despite receiving fewer votes again. And it all hinged on whether they could get Pence to acquiesce, to go along with the coup. And if they had to remove him from the premises, this is why he wouldn't get into the car. So But the reports are that there are FBI agents and Secret Service agents who are sympathetic to these filthy fascist traitors. And I'm of the opinion that if that's the case, they need to be excised, like you would cut out a cancer, because that's what they are. Now, when I was in the service, one of the of course, I was not in danger of being barred for my white nationalist ties, because I don't have any. And but that's part of a barrier to being able to join the service, is that you can't be a Nazi. You can't be a KKK member. You can't be a white supremacist, a racist, a freak. Right? So what's the difference here? You have to we have to come to grips. I know that Republicans don't want to take responsibility, of course, because the party of personal responsibility only sticks to that motto when they're trying to deny someone a hot lunch program. You know, when they're trying to slap a hot lunch out of a kid's hands or make granny eat cat food. Then that's when they talk about personal responsibility. But they don't want to take responsibility for what they've done to this country, because it's like everything else they've done to this country. It's like the Laffer curve and trickle down and 401ks, you know. It's part of the plan. This is the feature, not the bug. They want to destroy this country. Right? Everything that the Republicans touch turns to shit. And if you're wondering, why do I say 401ks? It's because of the 401k thing is that it was a part of the Republican agenda to destroy Social Security. They wanted to, it was part of their privatization plan to change people. It was also part of the kicking the legs out from under the uppity working class, because for the most part, for years, that 40 years known as the Great Prosperity, most Americans retired with a pension, which you would get a guaranteed income until you died, and then would pass on to your spouse or whatever, but until they died. And Republicans, they didn't want that. They wanted to turn or at least give the illusion that that the American people were, somehow enthralled with Wall Street and the market. And for years, you would hear the Republicans talk about, like, well, you know more what to do with your money than some government bureaucrat does, right? That's the familiar refrain. You know more. Yeah, like, this is what I want to do with my life. I mean, of course, I know more. I know more. I don't know how to day trade. I'm not a friggin' Wall Street bankster or broker. This is what I got to do. In between everything else I got to do, now I got to become a Wall Street aficionado. This is what annoys the fuck out of me. Yeah, no, I would much rather prefer having a guaranteed income, right? I don't have to worry if I retire when the market's in a downturn, if I could ever retire. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's what they've done. And now the first generation the first 401k generation is retiring, and guess what? They don't have enough to retire on. And there was an article in the New York Times that said something about how the first 401k generation is retiring, and it doesn't look good. Well, isn't that the Republican mantra for time immemorial, right? Everything they touch, they destroy. And you know why everything they touch, they destroy. It's not an accident. This is by design. They want to destroy it. They want to make people into another host from which Wall Street can suck profit and discard. That's the only reason Republicans do anything. They hate government. They hate the government that all the soldiers fought, bled, and died to entrust to us. All the soldiers that they pretend to love until they're beating them over the head with the flagpoles and whatnot. But there's nothing that Republicans believe that there's nothing worth doing unless some bankster can make a buck. And that's the bottom line. I mean, everything they touch, they destroy. Like the Medicare Advantage. That's another thing that they created, which is a big damn scam. Right? Here. I know we'll talk about the January 6th, but while I'm on the subject, from the New York Times about Medicare Advantage. Where is it? What day? When was this? This was on October 8th. This was written in the New York Times by Reed Abelson and Margot Sanger-Katz. So the title is "The Cash Monster Was Insatiable. How Insurers Exploited Medicare for Billions." Well, isn't that a familiar refrain? But they'll keep voting for them. They'll keep voting Republican. And the subtext is, by next year, half of Medicare beneficiaries will have a private Medicare Advantage plan. Most larger insurers in the program have been accused in court of fraud. Well, they're not in business to make you healthy. They don't get money if you use your benefits. They want you to die. They want the subsidies. They want that big fat government paycheck. And then they want you to die. That's it. They don't want to pay. So they write, the health system Kaiser Permanente called doctors in during a lunch after work and urged them to add additional illnesses to the medical records of patients they hadn't seen in weeks. Doctors who found enough new diagnoses could earn bottles of champagne or a bonus in their paycheck. Anthem, a large insurer now called Elevance Health, paid more to doctors who said their patients were sicker. And executives at a United Health Group, the country's largest insurer, which is the one where Bill McGuire retired with a, what was it, 1.6, was it? Now it's escaping me, the number, 1.6 billion, or maybe it was 2. Let's see, Bill McGuire, United Health Care Golden Parachute. Yeah, Bill McGuire's biggest golden parachute during his 15 years as the chairman of United Health Group. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, 1.6 billion. Oh, well, hey, how's a man supposed to live? Finally. It's like what Nero said when Nero built the Golden House. Finally, I can live like a human being. So, where was I? United Health Group, the country's largest insurer, told their workers to mine old medical records for more illnesses. It's a scam. Pushing papers around, making up numbers so they could suck more profit. It's not about your health. Mine old medical records for more illnesses. How much longer? Guys, how much longer are we going to take it? I have to keep asking this. How much effing longer? Will we allow these parasites to suck profit from us, from our humanity, like parasites suck life out of a host and discard. That's what they do. So, okay, so mine old medical records, and then when they couldn't find enough, they were sent back to try again. So, here, you go through a little bit more, make shit up. Each of the strategies, which were described by the Justice Department in lawsuits against the companies, led to diagnoses of serious diseases that might have never existed. But the diagnoses had a lucrative side effect. They let the insurer collect more money from the federal government's Medicare Advantage program. You see? Oh, because, we have the greatest health care in the world, don't we? The greatest. Sick. We are so sick. I'm so sick of it. I can't tell you, guys. I can't say it enough. I am so sick of the sickness in this country. I only hope that I live long enough to see it turn around. And yes, on the chat, Mark made mention of we only have 25 days now to save this democracy. That's what's at stake. It hangs in the balance. This all hangs in the balance. And everything that we're suffering from is a result of propaganda, of right-wing propaganda, and the corporate media. The corporate media, for years, bangs how do you say, they bang that drum about how we have the best health care in the world. We got the greatest, the best, but they never talked about, or they never made mention of, for years, right, how millions who went bankrupt. You know what always drove me insane? How the corporate media would do a feel-good story on, whatever. How some kid who had an illness, and how they, the town got together and had a bake sale, or they did a charity run, or they had a GoFundMe campaign, and the whole community pulled through to make this kid not have to needlessly die without health care in the richest country on earth. And they always I bet you I could Google right now, we could find a plethora of videos from the corporate media saying how wonderful and encouraging. These are the feel-good stories because, we could pull together. And what does that say? It says that the system that we have is fine. There's nothing broken with that the health system is the worst, the measurably worst in the developed world, that it leaves millions out, bankrupts millions, kills thousands needlessly every year, but makes a few people very rich. And that's it. And that's why it's the best. And every time I would see a story like that, I want to puke, because it's all about framing and who's paying the bills, right? These corporations who own the media now, thanks to the Telecommunications Act. Some of them have, they're the people on those boards of directors. They're not worried about what they're going to do if they get a catastrophic illness. They don't need to worry about it because they're making buku bucks. But the lowest paid worker in the company might have to come up with a GoFundMe campaign, or maybe get her community or together to do a bake sale, which might actually, pay for chemo for a whole week. These people make me sick. But worst of all, they make the entire country sick. And it's enough. I am so sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the worst human beings on the planet getting power because of greed and propaganda. And like I was saying with the FBI, they're saying that some of the FBI have sympathies towards these January 6th traitors. and the same with the Secret Service, because why? What? Because what they said when you went into an FBI field office that was particularly, QAnon or something. They would have not just Fox News, but the worst cesspools, the OANs and the other Newsmax on their telescreens. And that's why. And, if I can put it together, why can't the corporate media? Why can't the higher ups? Why can't the FBI and the chain of command figure it out? That, I'm sorry, you can't, at work, you're not going to watch this fascist propaganda swill. I don't see the problem with that. Right? I mean, what are you doing? Watching fascist propaganda. Oh, well, freedom of speech and, both sides. No. See, the difference is if the corporate media, the so-called liberal media, right? CNN or MSNBC, if they report something that is inaccurate, they make a correction, right? So there's the New York Times, the Washington Post, not OAN, not Fox News. When Fox News studies show that Fox News makes its viewers less informed than people who watch no news at all. Oh, the studies are biased. Well, that socialist rag Business Insider did a study. Fox News makes its viewers less informed than those who watch no news at all. And in the days of Edward R. Murrow, that would have been grounds for fire. There would be mass firing across the network because they failed in the one thing they're supposed to do: inform the viewer. But less informed? They're not informed. They're malinformed. So that's why you shouldn't have a fascist swill in any FBI or any, not to mention any federal government job office. I mean, I can't even talk. Right? I don't know. How about you shut the fucking TV off and do your job and arrest these scumbags? Go arrest the con man who received fewer votes 2 times. He's still walking around. Put that piece of dirt, that dirtbag walking, what's his name? Steve Bannon. Get him. Get his ass in cuffs. Not his ass. Well, get him in cuffs. I don't care what you put in cuffs. Just cuff him up. Unreal. Yeah, Fox, OAN, and their ilk learned from Roy Cohn. Yep, Mark on the chat. Lying means never having to say you're sorry. Exactly. And they're liars. Everything they say is a lie. Not everything. I'm sure that's the thing. A little bit of truth, but not much. Not much. Like, for example, well, let me just finish this first. I'll finish this little article. But in the New York Times review, we're talking about Medicare Advantage, the fraud that is Medicare Advantage. And that's, thank you, Republicans. We know that a lot of seniors, they don't even know they're on Medicare Advantage. And then they get denied things that they think are covered by Medicare. And, then they realize, holy shit, I'm in this for-profit loophole here. So, and they trick people. How could you call it Medicare? Oh, it's like, grape juice plus. That's from Planet of the Apes. Okay. But let me see. A New York Times review of dozens of lawsuits, the Inspector General audits and investigations by watchdog. Why can't I talk? I don't know. A lot of words are having trouble in my mouth. Inspector General audits and investigations by watchdogs shows how major health insurance exploited the program to inflate their profits by billions of dollars. Because that's the only reason. Why would you want to? I mean, why are you in that business anyway? That's your business? Get another fucking business. Your business is to get rich denying people health care. You literally have your money of your life. That's your mission statement. Unbelievable. But very believable, because the country's stupid and sick. And we are stupid and sick because of propaganda. That really is the root of all evil. Money and politics, they go hand in hand. We wouldn't be in this boat if not for propaganda. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, if that Elon Musk man-child takes Twitter, it will be a very sad day for me, because I use Twitter a lot, because I go on there to see what's going on. But I guess we'll have to come up or find another place to do that, because I will not be hanging out in 4chan. I don't go on 4chan, the same reason I wouldn't want to go on some platform where you could just spread lies with absolute abandon, and with no regard to what it does to the country and the community. All right. And the other thing, while I'm on the subject too, we need to get this out there. I keep hearing all the time, we've talked about this all the time, though, about how Republicans are only motivated by owning the libs. And great observation, corporate media. We know that. I'm way ahead of you. But here, I'm also ahead of you in this regard as well. Follow it up with, if that's your motivation, if your motivation for whatever for supporting a candidate, for whatever fucking policies, whatever it might be. Because, Republicans don't have policies except make the rich richer and hurt the right people, quote unquote. Then you're not a patriot. You hate America. If you're motivated by annoying your fellow Americans, triggering your fellow Americans, owning your fellow Americans, then how hard is it for the corporate media to take that leap and just remind everybody, if that's your motivation, you're not a patriot. You're a traitor. And you're an overgrown, emotionally stunted moron who really should go take a nap, frankly. Just go take a nap. Go into your mommy's basement or something. And let the adults continue to try to make a country that works for more than just the 1%. Right? I mean, take that leap, corporate media. Connect the dots. I'm so sick of that too. I am sick of it's part of the enabling. I'm sick of corporate media playing the both sides, and it happens on the left and it happens on the right. And what is this? That they, every time they make an observation about a Republican, they must follow it up with, and that goes for the left too. Well, they have no examples. Show me. I'm willing to give it a look. I'm so sick of it. That's why we're sick, because everyone is suffering from PTSD, of course, in one form or another. But then they say things as if everyone has the same experience too, that we all should know what they're talking about. And then what happens is that everyone, each person fills in the blank with their own, it's like a personal Rorschach test, right? So when you say owning the libs or whatever it might be, they just never follow up. And that's the other thing, is that this country, the people in this country, and okay, I can't go on anymore about it, but I talk about it, about the polls. Every time they poll, the corporate media, that's all they do is polls. Who's up in the polls, who's down in the polls. And we ask them, do you like socialism? Do you like whatever, Medicare Advantage? Well, why don't you explain? Do you think Joe Biden's doing a good job? Or, yes, no, he's got a low approval rating. Well, why don't you get a little bit more detailed there? Why don't you ask people, what do you think about the Inflation Reduction Act, or whatever the pieces of the Inflation Reduction? How about, you think that seniors should enjoy paying $35 for insulin? Do you think that the rest of the country might benefit from that, if not for the Republicans? Like, they never state facts or specifics. They just say, oh, I just don't like what Joe Biden's doing. I don't like what is he fucking doing? Give me an example. Right? But everything he does do, I don't know. It's to me, it's a mass hysteria. That's what goes on. And propaganda works. So people are like, oh, well, you don't like Joe Biden. I don't like him either. Just like I don't like socialism. Well, I love my socialist security, though. All right. Well, that's what we're here for. But unfortunately, everyone is like, please become a patron. You don't hear them on MSNBC saying, please become a patron. So, all right. Let's see. The government pays Medicare Advantage insurers a set amount for each person who enrolls, with higher rates for sicker patients. Oh, I see. You see what I'm saying? Now, in this case, the corporate ghouls, they really want sick people. They want those sick people on their plans because the government is giving them a big fat buku paycheck. So, and if they can't see how disgusting this is? Because if it were in any other, business model, they would be scouring your medical records. Well, before the ACA, of course, they would scour your medical records and look for a way to kick you off the plan if you were sick. But in this case, because the government is paying for sicker patients, they're looking through everyone's medical records and trying to diagnose them as sicker. These fucking ghouls. These disgusting ghouls. Yeah, and this is why we're so divided. This is the problem. It really is part of it. And the other thing the corporate media does is they lament how divided we are. Meanwhile, they're the ones that are like both sides, but never point out the fact that we're divided because they continue to divide us. Yes, guess what? What is more patriotic than pledging your life, fortune, and sacred honor to each other, right? Wouldn't that also include ensuring that, we're in this together? That if you're sick, that we got you, Isn't that the one of the benefits of being in a civilized society? That's why so many fought, bled, and died. They didn't fight, bleed, and die for generations so that some tax-cheating piece of dirtbag called Trump or any of his enablers could squat in the White House despite receiving fewer votes. So that's not why. It's not why the founders rebelled against the crown or any of the any American ever put their ass on the line for democracy. That it really is offensive to me when I think about all of the heroes, especially in the last century during the the Nazis, when the Americans were fighting Nazis, not emboldening them at home. And I think about all the sacrifices that were made and the courage of the people who stood up to people like Trump. The same sickness in the human soul. That's what they fought. You think about the torture and the, just how many people lost their lives. The bravery to stand up. So, and then you look at what's going on in Ukraine right now. So, that's an example of people putting their life on the line, their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor to each other, so they could be free from an autocrat, treating them as nothing but hosts from which to suck profit and discard. That's what they're fighting for. And what do we do here? We can't even ensure that people don't needlessly die without health care. These fucking pricks won't even get a goddamn vaccine. Now, all of the sudden, right, all the vaccines are the devil because a con man told them so. And where'd they get that information? From the fascist propaganda media, which is the ground zero of the decay. Greed. That's the sickness. It's money in politics. It's part of the sickness, but it could only be made possible through the propaganda channels that are being consumed. Now, how stupid do you have to be to think that, like, for example, as far as the election, right? Oh, the election is stolen by. Well, how? They have no evidence. Nope. Oh, it was votes were flipped from an Italian serf. Some bullshit, right? What, like the stupidest excuses that make no sense. Oh, but they feel. So many people are feeling. They feel there's irregularities. Really, you feel that way? Feelings aren't facts. That's what my sponsor used to tell me, Thank God feelings aren't facts. But give me a break. I am so tired of nobody taking responsibility. Party of personal responsibility. Take some freaking responsibility. Well, they're a lost cause. But everything else, you got a choice. Republicans, how is it that any of these Republicans are neck and neck? Like Herschel Walker, how is he neck and neck with Raphael Warnock? That says it all. That's because of propaganda. They have been taught for generations that, Democrats are the devil, right? And that anything, you vote for a Democrat, you're evil, right? That's it. But it's ridiculous, yes. Paul in the chat says, the healthcare plans available really stink. Yes, they do. That's the other thing that stinks is that because, it's money. That's it. When I have to get healthcare. Now, thankfully, with the ACA, because I've been a freelancer for a large bulk of my adult life. And healthcare in this country has been a a challenge in this fucking country. It's been something that makes me want to puke, and it annoys the fuck out of me too, because I have to, that's the other thing. So you go on to the exchange, and of course then you have to go through these plans, the bronze plan, the gold plan, the silver plan, the B, the A, the C. It's like, I don't have I got other shit to do. You know what I mean? I want to be able to go to the doctor when I'm sick. I want to be able to not have to stress out about that. What's my co-pay, my co-insurance, in-network, out-of-network. Like, all of that shit is bullshit. And that's because, it's not about health. And the only thing the ACA did was it regulated the insurance racket to a degree. And thanks to the Republicans, of course, put poison pill after poison pill into it. That's why it's expensive on top of it, because it's profit. For profit. And the Republicans, they kneecapped all the subsidies. That was something that Marco Rubio did. He did something about, if I remember correctly, it's Marco Rubio's fault, in fact. Can you believe this? That these inadequate, underwhelming scumbags, I was going to call them people, are responsible for, that could make decisions that affect all of us. It's like Judge Eileen Cannon and shit. So let's see. Marco Rubio, risk corridors. That's what he did. That's what he did. Where is it? Come on, I want to see this fucking ad. I can't even, oh my God. Everything sucks. Look at this. I'm trying to read this article, and all I see is this ad. How do I get out of here? Jesus, health care and help. I need health care. Oh, here it is. Because I need my blood pressure pills. Yeah, Marco Rubio, let's see, had the federal risk corridor program not ended in 2017 and been defunded by Republicans, individual market premiums would not have risen so sharply, according to research. You see what Republicans do? They hate America. They hate the American people. They want to cause pain to the American people. They want, like when the inflation numbers came out, they cheered and high-fived each other. But you know what else they did is absolutely nothing to make it better. And that's their goal. To cause pain to the American people for political gain and then blame everybody else. They're not sincere. They're not in it for altruism. They're in it for selfishness, for their own getting their asses kissed, right? For access to pal around with powerful people and pal around with terrorists now, right? That's what they do. So they can smoke cigars and act like that they're pivotal in world civilization, like scumbags like Roger Stone. These horrible, horrible, bottom-feeding monsters. Right out of some kind of villain, a super villain. He's not a super villain. He's just he's a mediocre villain. But look at these people. Look at them. They're horrible. They're not nice people. You think Roger Stone is in it so everyone can have a decent middle-class life? He's a fucking sick piece of dirt. He's a sociopath. God, why? Why do we have to share the same air with these monsters? So just to clarify, the Risk Corridor program, one of the 3 premium stabilization programs put in place by the ACA, subsidized insurers whose medical costs exceeded a set target and taxed insurers with costs below that target. The program was set to expire in 2016, but it was hobbled early by an omnibus spending bill provisioned by fucking little Marco, which prohibited it from paying out more than it receives in collections. In fact, previous media reports noted that Rubio claimed he killed Obamacare by cutting pivotal funding. You know how we can... See, he killed Obamacare by cutting pivotal funding for insurers. Why do we even need that? You see, in a world where we can merely go to the doctor when sick, you could just go to the doctor. You know, go to your doctor. You don't need a copay, co-insurance. Is he in network, out of network? You want to go to the hospital? Go to the fucking hospital. Is it in network, out of network? That's the world I would like to live in. And it's also the world that when the corporate media mouthpieces lament how divided we are, it's another thing. It's like they have blinders. We're divided because they're dividing us. Universal health care is a patriotic imperative. That's how it has to be marketed. Or, I mean, to those who have any hope of listening, but it's the truth. We are divided because we have this I got mine mentality. That to say that, like even for example, what the Republicans are doing, sending asylum seekers to other states, where now here in New York, the homeless shelters are busting at the seams, and they're constructing tents now to house migrants. But there was, and then what are the Republicans doing? They're laughing and cheering. They think this is good shit, right? They like not just owning libs, they like hurting people. But you can have a taste of what I have to go through. This is what they're saying, I suppose. But there's no warning. They tricked these people. And if this were a functioning society, we would all get together and say, how do we solve this right now? You know, how do we, as a country and a community, solve this problem? You don't just go, yeah, here you go, and trick people, and then they show up at your doorstep, so you could watch the libs struggle to get them housing and give them because that's what happened in Martha's Vineyard. What happened was the people sprung into action and rallied around the human beings that had been tricked by the filth of Republicans. But you know, I mean, if it was a functioning society and the Republicans weren't so adversarial, they want to be adversarial though. They get a political bump from it because they're race. I mean, that's the other thing. The racism, of course, they would never do this. A bunch of Norwegians showed up in a bus, right? But of course, the Norwegians wouldn't show up because they're too happy living in a socialized country. They don't have to worry. You know, they could go to college without coming out as indentured servants to banksters. They could go to the doctor when sick. You know, shit that happens in civilized countries. But if this were a functioning society and Republicans weren't so so much an asshole. If they weren't assholes, the governors would have a conversation. Okay, I can't handle this. There's too many people coming in. We need your help. okay, well, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll take however many, and just give us a couple of days. We'll, whatever the hell. I mean, this is what you would do. But Republicans can't do that because everything is about, it really is ultimately about undermining democracy and exploiting the fissures of disunity. Yep. Haiku says, I was confident in a blue wave a few weeks ago, but now I'm worried dark money will take us all down once and for all. I know. I'm worried too. I'm worried when the inflation numbers came out. Here's the other thing, because I've been, of course, as you know, I talk about it all the time, watching the corporate media, and I watch it like, I'm not sitting there eating it up. I watch it as with a critical eye for the messages that's getting out there, and for the propaganda that are the underlying messages, and noticing the shift in tone when and you saw reflected in the polls, because everything is a poll, right? They're always talking about polls, up in the polls, down in the polls. And they said that for that brief moment, the democracy was the primary concern for voters in the midterms, right? And the corporate media mouthpieces were really they were surprised. And then it started to shift back. And they said that it started to become but then, what do they say? They're always talking about, that it's surprising that democracy's on the ballot, but what about the kitchen table issues? It doesn't mean anything if you can't fill your gas tank. This is what the corporate media were saying. Hold on. And instead of understanding the pivotal role that they play in this democracy, that, guess what? It sucks. Yeah, it's very expensive at the grocery store. It really is. It's partly because of our we live in a world, we're all connected. Worldwide pandemic, issues with the supply chain. There's a fucking war going on in Europe, and that makes that has a we feel it. That what am I saying? You know what I'm saying? That it affects us. So inflation is a worldwide issue, and Joe Biden is doing everything he can for it, but not that. And Republicans would give him a hand, that's for sure. But this too shall pass. It will pass. And we'll get through it. But if we don't save democracy, we're not getting that back anytime soon. So, in my opinion, the corporate media should be not just talking about inflation constantly and telling me how much the fucking gas prices have gone up. Oh, now they're going up again, and now they're going down, and now they're going up, and now they're going, stop with this shit. Stop. And stop telling me how low Joe Biden's approval ratings are. Why? Why is that? I find that baffling, too. Because he has done more in such a short period of time than any other president in my lifetime. He's been very consequential and much to my surprise, more of a progressive than I thought he'd be, because that's what you need in a crisis. You don't throw conservatism at a country if you want it to function. You champion progressive policies. And what is progressive policies? From the ground up. Of course, Republicans they're all about, woke. It's too woke. Woke. Whatever. That just means it's the latest, it's the update, the revision of PC, which is really just means not being a dick. too woke. Because they have nothing. That's the thing I was also thinking, how, the Democrats are talking about policy, they're talking about reality, and what are Republicans doing? They can't help but be, but spread lies and divisive asshole lies. I'm just getting distracted because I'm looking for this. For example, where is it? Here, during the January 6th hearing, we saw Nancy Pelosi for, another time, because for this whole, how many months have we heard from Republicans? Where's Nancy Pelosi? What, as if she was the one who didn't want the National Guard. Why did Nancy not call the National Guard? I mean, they're such monsters, right? Well, here, a lot of people are pointing out how Steve Scalise, who clearly learned nothing from his near-death experience. You see, I always think that if somebody has a near-death experience, they might not be a total asshole. Maybe they'll come out of it like Scrooge and say, I don't want to spend the rest of my life as a right-wing monster, murdering my fellow Americans through lies and installing a con man who received fewer votes, who has no business leading a multi-level marketing vitamin scam, much less a modern nation, right? Anyway, so let me just play this video. Hold on.
Was Speaker Pelosi involved in the decision to delay National Guard assistance
It's a little low.
on January 6th? Those are serious and real questions that this committee refuses to even ask.
Jim Banks just raised some very serious questions that should be answered by the January 6th Commission.
I can't. What's the word? I'm struggling. What a disgusting scumbag, Steve Scalise. Oh, you know why? Well, we'll get to it. He's asking, I wonder why the January 6th hearing commission people, they're not asking these questions that Republicans are pulling out of their ass because they don't want to take responsibility. The party of personal responsibility will take zero responsibility, as usual.
But they're not.
This cannot be just we're waiting for so-and-so. We need them there now, whoever you got.
You also have troops.
So I know it's a little low, but let's see. Republican leaders Mitch McConnell, Steve Scalise, and John Thune joined Democratic leaders in a call to the Department of Defense on January 6th. And there's Steve Scalise right there with Nancy Pelosi as they're on the phone trying to get the guard in there. Where was Nancy Pelosi? Where? What are you? Cats are very farsighted. Is that it? Or nearsighted? The one when you can't see up close. Sometimes you got to put it right in front of their face. They can't see it. Is that the way he is, maybe? Where's Nancy Pelosi? She's right in front of your face. Where? It's like me. Sometimes, I'll be like, where's my glasses? But they're on my head or something.
This is Steny Hoyer. Troops.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time to make that decision.
Andrews Air Force Base.
All right.
Other military bases.
Thank you.
We
Thanks,
need
Paul.
active duty National Guard.
How soon in the future can you have the place evacuated, cleaned out?
I don't want to speak for the leadership that's going to be responsible for executing.
Unbelievable. There's Steve Scalise. There's Nancy. Standing right there.
Well, just pretend for a moment it was the Pentagon or the White House or some other entity that was under siege. And let me say, you can logistically get people there as you make the plan.
Unreal. Where is Nancy
Was Speaker Pelosi involved in the decision to delay
What?
National Guard assistance
delay
on January 6th?
She's working the phones. She's done more work in those 2 hours or whatever or more than the entire Trump lineage of DNA of useless, worthless excuses for human DNA for the entire, for every God. Could you imagine being part of that family tree? Except for Mary Trump. She's the only redeeming one. But where? Someone needs to ask these questions. Where was she? She's right in front of your fucking face.
On January 6th. Those are serious
Serious
questions that this committee
Can you imagine?
refuses
Serious?
to even ask.
Jim Banks just raised some very serious questions.
I can't take it. I cannot. Do you understand how? I mean, it's par for the course, and we're all kind of numb to these. I don't know. I gotta get the thesaurus out because how many? I need a lot more words for these fucking people. They're not people. They're monsters. Yeah, they're monsters. I don't understand how you have absolutely no integrity. Don't they have any shame? That's the other thing. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? How do you live with yourself, Steve Scalise? How? It's unreal. You see, and this is a product of the broken system. Of course, this Steve Scalise and all of these inadequate, very underwhelming fascists that we see, Kevin McCarthy, Steve Scalise, Elise Stefanik. She's another one. Oh my God, I can't bear these people. No integrity. Zero. How do you, I guess it must, I'm really asking this sincerely. How do you live with yourself? But it's an illness. There's different personality disorders. They must be awash with malignant narcissists. They have to be. It is as far as it's because of the broken system. Our system is so sick and broken that it attracts people like Steve Scalise and Elise Stefanik and Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, it's true. You see, it attracts those people because they want money and power, and because of the money in politics. This is why we have the worst human beings on the planet, and they're all, in the Republican Party. They're all in there because I guess they must enable each other somehow. It's sort of like, you want to know somebody, look at their friends. And I guess if they're hanging out with or palling around with a bunch of terrorists and insurrectionists and right-wing kooks and freaks and geeks and monsters and greed-centered ghosts of the Gilded Age and racists, homophobes, Islamophobes, transphobes, horrible human beings, if that's your pals, who, I mean, the other thing is, he's standing there, right there. There he is. There's Steve Scalise. Where is he? Right there. There's Nancy in the whatever tannish blazer. And then you have to go to work again and look that person in the eye. The one you just went on, whatever propaganda outlet you can get your useless carcass on and bashed and lied about. How do you How do you stand yourself? Right? And the thing is, the story is coming to my mind, but I don't remember who it was. I heard on one of the corporate media channels, one of the Democrats said, I think it might have been Eric Swalwell was saying that he told a story about, but I don't remember who it was about though, where he confronted one of his Republican colleagues about the lies he saw him tell about Eric Swalwell on, the propaganda channel, Fox News or something. And the response was, well, you know how it is. Because they have no integrity. You know how it is. It is the way it is because of them. Because they have no integrity. The system is rotten. It's awash with money. It attracts these people. Those who don't take corporate money, you don't have to take it. Bernie led the way. He proved that you don't have to be a corporate lick spittle. You could be free. You don't have to be indebted to them, but they don't want to. See, it's like the same thing. It's really everything we've been talking about. They don't think that it's sincere. They want to take corporate money. If we gave them an out, they wouldn't take it. They want to be indebted to their masters, because then the masters will give them, power and access, and then they'll be able to smoke cigars and come up with all kinds of plans and to fuck you over, and then go on some fascist propaganda outlet. Like, who else would talk to them otherwise? I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of the sickness, the effing sickness. Fuck you. Oh, I just went on Twitter. Jim Jordan. Record grocery prices, mortgage rates at 7%. Good luck buying a car. Joe Biden's America. Please. When Trump left office, he left office with the worst economy since fucking Herbert Hoover. The worst jobs record since the Great Depression. He's a piece of shit. Republicans are, disgusting. And hold on. And I have more proof of that, frankly, if you must. For example, they can't help it. I'm sure you saw this too. This Ron Johnson debating. Here, let's play this clip. And they just can't help being scum.
It's just more not to complete the wall that we already contracted for than to actually build it.
All right.
Democrats have voted against 3 of my amendments in committee and on the floor, all but it has cost us more not to complete the wall that we already contracted for than to actually build it.
All right.
Democrats have voted against 3 of my amendments in committee and on the floor, all but Senator Manchin voted against completing the wall that we'd already bought and paid for. And in response to the wild charge of Lieutenant Governor Barnes, the FBI set me up with a corrupt briefing and then leaked that to smear me. I am
unbelievable.
No, I'm sorry. All right.
He is referring to corruption with the FBI, which I've been trying to uncover and expose.
And he's leading in the polls. Who the fuck votes for these people? The FBI set him up, and all the lie. I mean, Ron Johnson is a joke. As you could see, Mandela Barnes, his opponent, is standing there dignified. But that's how Democrats act, right? They have to act like that. You always have to, it's two rules, like two sets of rules for Democrats and Republicans. Republicans can stomp around the stage. They could take a shit in the Capitol. They could take a shit in their diapers. They could go and, talk some crazy ass shit constantly. And everyone has to give them, I suppose, some kind of, it's part of the enabling. They enable them by treating them as if they are sincere and capable. And it's, to me, these two are not even in the same league. None of them are.
Barnes, you go first. What do you find admirable about your opponent?
Well, no, seriously. I do think, the senator is proven to be a family man, and I think that's admirable. That's absolutely to be respected. He speaks about his family. He's done a lot to provide for them. I absolutely respect that.
Mr. Johnson.
I mean, likewise, I appreciate the fact that Lieutenant Governor Barnes had loving parents, a school teacher, father worked third shift, so he had good upbringing. I guess what puzzles me about that is with that upbringing, why is he turned against America? I mean, why does he find the founding of America awful? It's
somehow
it puzzles me.
We did not.
Incredible.
We said something admirable.
When I first ran for office, I made you.
Isn't that incredible? They can't help it. Why did he turn against America? Fuck you. No one turns against America more than a scumbag who tells the people he pretends to represent that COVID can be cured with mouthwash. Right? No one. What else did he say? Let's see. Ron Johnson's lies. Don't you people have any respect for yourself, the people who vote for somebody like Ron Johnson? The FBI set him up? Unbelievable. These kooks are in, very close to taking that coup over the finish line. They really are. From the Wisconsin Public Radio website, it says Wisconsinites have a negative view of Senator Johnson. It may not hurt his re-election chances. Once one of the Democrats' top targets, recent polls show that the Republican, Ron Johnson, is leading Democrat Mandela Barnes. Can you believe this? He's accused Democrats of purposely driving up the cost of gas to force you into electric vehicles. Johnson blamed Democrats for inflation, saying it amounted to stealing people's savings, unlike 401ks or what else? Anything else that the Republicans do. They never do anything to help the American people, just to make it harder. To not just keep a roof over your head, but keep your head above water and keep life in your bodies. Remember those? Not too long ago, America was from sea to shining sea, being peppered with mass graves, thanks to the con man who received fewer votes. All right, this is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Come on over to youtube.com/CFA channel/Tarabuster to watch the end of the show. We will win. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. We stick together. We win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. My name is Tara Devlin. We stick together. We win. I'll see you soon. Christ help us. Despite Wisconsinites' negative view of Johnson, he's pulled ahead of Barnes in multiple surveys of voters this month. Scott Jensen, a Republican lobbyist and former Speaker of the Wisconsin Assembly, says Johnson's polling isn't the only key to winning re-election. Ron Johnson may not be able to improve his numbers, but he can dramatically reduce Mandela Barnes's numbers. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Johnson was a proponent of drugs like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. Just scum. He's a scumbag. Complete goddamn snake oil. That June, federal regulators revoked an emergency use authorization for hydroxychloroquine, citing data that it was unlikely to be effective. Well, what else is new? That is the Republican agenda in a nutshell. You understand? Just fill in the blank. It's like a Mad Libs of failure for them. They promote bullshit, and then it turns out to be nothing but bullshit that makes a few people very rich and kills you or makes your life a little harder, right? I mean, really. I hate them. I'm so sick of it. The senator told fellow COVID vaccine skeptic Del Bigtree of the High Wire he was frustrated by resistance to early treatment options and by Dr. Anthony Fauci. As you know, quite honestly, I want to make sure that President Trump got reelected, Johnson said, and I didn't want to get too overly critical of his administration. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Oh, well, I'm not really sorry, but I should stop cursing. I know I have to stop. He referred to the crowd that rallied in Washington as on January 6th as jovial and friendly. Last week at the Milwaukee Rotary Club, Johnson said that calling the attack on the Capitol an armed insurrection is inaccurate because no guns were seized, which is bullshit. Police radio traffic that day indicated that people near the Capitol grounds were armed with pistols and AR-15s. And now we know from yesterday's hearings that Trump knew that too and was trying to get them to march to the Capitol and into, he wanted to let them in. Let them not go through the magnetometers. Just let all of because they're not here to hurt me. That's what he said. He wanted to rile them up, wind them up, and set them off to the Capitol. The other thing there's a couple of things. I know we're running out of time, but another clip that just came out from January 6th of Pelosi. Let's play this for a second, because she's talking about how the rioters or the insurrectionists are taking poo-poos.
I think as we're trying to figure out how we can get this job done today. We talked to Mitch about it earlier. He's not in the room right now, but he was with us earlier and said, we want to expedite this, and hopefully they could confine it to just one complaint, Arizona, and then we could vote, and that would be, then just move forward with the rest of the state. We're at the Fort McNair, which has facilities for the House and the Senate to meet as a backup plan. We're being told it could take days to clear the Capitol, and that we should be moving everyone here to get the job done. Now, you may be getting different information, but that's what we're being told. Chuck Schumer's being told that. A while ago, Chuck and I called upon the president to ask the people to leave the Capitol. That hasn't happened yet. I hope that it will. We've gotten a very bad report about the condition of the House floor with defecation and all that kind of thing as well. I don't think that that's hard to clean up, but I do think it is more from a security standpoint of making sure that everybody is out of the building. A very bad report about the conditions of the House floor with defecation and all that kind of thing
You bet. That's what we're trying to do. We're not going.
Okay, and that calls back. Okay, I worry about you being in that Capitol room. Don't let anybody know where you are.
She's talking to Pence.
Is that it is very hard to clear the Capitol in a day, and we should do it here. But the other argument is then we're abandoning the Capitol to insurrectionists, which is...
No, we gotta... Okay, let's weigh the evidence. I just got off with the Vice President.
And I got off with the Vice President-elect, so I'll tell her what she said. Yeah.
But what we left the conversation with, because he said he had the impression from Mitch that Mitch wants to get everybody back to do it there.
Yes.
I said, well, we're getting a counterpoint that is, it could take time to clean up the poo-poo that they're making all over them, literally and figuratively in the Capitol.
I can't believe it, right? Clean up the poo-poo. And see, there's many things that really got me aggravated watching this video. Well, just thinking of Steve Scalise and the way that the Republicans attacked Nancy Pelosi. And you know I'm not, a big Nancy Pelosi fan, whatever. But she was doing her job. She did everything she could during that attack. And Republicans, well, how do they repay her? They go out in front of all of their fascist propaganda outlets and lie about her. Where's they try to blame it on her, on Nancy Pelosi. And then to think, I mean, of course they have no integrity, Republicans, but for them, they were getting reports. There's poo-poo in the Capitol and they have to clean up the defecation. How many bad decisions do you have to make in your life until you find yourself taking a dump in the halls of the Capitol? If you think that's how the founding fathers would react? I mean, what do you think the founding fathers would think of a bunch of kooks, freaks, puppets, of autocrats, of wannabe dictators who receive fewer votes? What do you think they would think about you taking a shit in the Capitol? You think if you have to take a shit in the Capitol, you lost. You've already lost. You're not a hero. You're not on the right side of history. Right? Unbelievable. Wait. It's like Yankee Doodle went to... I mean, hello? If that's what you have to do, then you think you're a patriot? And then you're defending the people who did that, who busted the windows, who cattle prodded the police, who beat them with riot shields, who bear sprayed them, who had zip ties. And they were screaming, these fuckers. Bring Nancy out. Bring her out. Or we're going in to get her. And that's all, you know why? Because of propaganda. They've been because they're not that smart. They've been told for however long, for many years, Democrats are evil. Democrats are, if they give them health care, passing the Affordable Care Act is like one step away from Nazism. Meanwhile, Nazism is just A-okay, though. Actual Nazism. Healthcare is Nazism, but not, storming the Capitol and having an autocrat lie to your face and vilify minority groups and, make you storm the Capitol and take a shit in the halls. That's A-okay, right? That's not Nazism. These people are freaks. Wait, hold on. Where is it? Okay. One last story before we go for the night. Well, we have 20-something minutes left. I figured I just wanted to show you how sick Republicans are. And we know this. The other day, the last show we did, we were talking about how, what's his name? Matt Walsh, another upstanding fascist, how he was justifying arranged marriages and how 16-year-olds are in the prime of their lives and fertile and I guess ready to take his seed. Because, do you guys understand? I mean, I'm not kidding here. They want to drag us back to the Dark Ages. That's the Republican agenda. That's what it looks like. We've been there before. That's why the founders overthrew the intergenerational aristocracy and the monarchy. They didn't want to create another system like that, right? They wanted freedom. Yeah, and all their hypocrisy. But we're trying to bring that to fruition, not to leave anybody behind. Republicans can't handle it. Well, anyway, the other day, where was it? Matt Walsh talked about, where is it? Come on. My computer's in rebellion. Arranged marriages would be vastly preferable to modern approach to dating. Really, almost anything would be better. So that's not saying much. But he also justified 16-year-old girls, right? Having sex with 16-year-olds. You know, I mean, they're fucked up. Republicans are all attracted to this bottom-feeding party because, you know, water seeks its level. So, okay, Dennis Prager, in case you missed it. He's a right-winger, of course. What else would he be? He's not a normal person, so of course he's a right-winger. Right-wing radio host Dennis Prager declared on his Dennis Prager show that incest, I'm not kidding, between immediate siblings that results in childbirth should not necessarily be avoided. I mean, maybe he's watching too much Game of Thrones. Birth defects due to inbreeding are well documented, and the result from lack of DNA diversity, increasing the chances of a baby will inherit and display recessive genetic traits. The risk grows if the illicit reproductive practice is continued by future generations. But Prager's views are formulated by his fundamentalist interpretation of a verse from the biblical book of Deuteronomy. See, and this is where Republicans want to drag us back to. Don't think that the demon-haunted world isn't always there, right under the surface, waiting for us to go back there. It's like when Galileo discovered that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe. What did people like Dennis Prager do? They tortured him, right, and made him recant. Because that's what it said in the ancient book of fables, that the Earth is the center of the universe, and you can't deny that. So I guess in his ancient book of fables, let's just listen to him. I have the clip here.
Covering one verse in Deuteronomy. My explanation of Deuteronomy is published today. It's a big day. It doesn't happen often. There's only 5 volumes. It's a 10-year project. Numbers, I guess, will come out. Maybe. I don't know if it'll come out next year.
Oh, God, help us. Really?
Maybe 2024. It's a big deal. I try to explain everything.
Don't try, honey. Don't try.
Just this one verse that men shall not wear women's clothing or women men's clothing. So let's go to my motto, preferring clarity to agreement.
Oh my God, it's so
Either
unbearable.
the Bible's right or the left is right.
Fuck you. Okay, that's my scintillating commentary. Fuck you. Either the Bible's right or the left is right. Well, guess what, honey? I hate to tell you. Go take your ancient book of fables and fuck off back to the Dark Ages. But you don't have to take us all with you. Oh, it gets worse. Wait, that's nothing here. Here, let's
Both
keep
be
going.
right. That's why you can't be a serious Jew or Christian and be a leftist.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You can be a liberal, you can be a conservative, but you can't be a leftist.
What are you talking about? That's the other thing. You can be a liberal, you can be a conservative, but you can't be a leftist? What's a leftist? In your sick point of view, Prager. Could you imagine this fucking guy? Like the demons that haunt him, his sexual repression. Could you imagine what actually goes on in his mind? Someone is ringing my bell at 10:30 at night.
Just on this issue alone, you just would have to say the Bible's wrong and you're right. Let's see here. The public nudity calls are interesting. Anyway, none of you have a secular argument against it, and I don't blame you for that because there isn't any. There's no secular argument against adult incest. Brother and sister want to make love. What's your argument? That they're going to produce mentally retarded offspring? It's nonsense. It takes many generations of inbreeding to do that. There is no secular argument against adult consensual incest. There's a religious argument.
If a brother and sister want to make love, does he have a sister, this guy?
What's your argument? That they're going to produce mentally retarded offspring?
I mean, also, I guess it's the years, what year is this? 2022? We don't say that word anymore, but that's too woke, I suppose. These people they will never change. That's why they hate this country. They're incapable of functioning in a free democratic society. They can't. That's why it's evil to them. When humanity evolves, they want to drag us back to, and it's really down to their level where they're comfortable. They want to make everybody as sick as they are. And yeah, that's it. They're not going to stop.
Let's see here. The public nudity calls are interesting. Anyway, none of you have a secular argument against it, and I don't blame you for that because there isn't any. There's no secular argument against
somebody bring
adult
a book.
Incest. Brother and sister want to make love.
Brother and sister want to make love. Hello. You see, it's a Freudian slip. They can't help it. It's like they're so racist they can't help it. They're so repressed they can't help it. They just say shit. When they're actually being truthful, the rest of us are shaking our heads like this can't be real. But it is real to them. But it's a window into their world, into how demented they truly are. They are sick and unfit. That's why this guy, I mean, God knows how sick he is. You better believe. Oh, I mean, something is off. Brother and sister want to make love? We got him talking about brother and sister making love. Who puts it like that? making love. It's like he's getting off on it. And I can only imagine what actually goes on in the privacy of his sick mind. He's sick. You understand? Like, these people are very sick, and they can't get help because that would require courage, and they can't say anything to anyone because the conservatives in their big tent, in their rugged individualism, will kick them out. And he doesn't have the courage to live an authentic life, and he can't risk being excommunicated, and so to speak, from his tribe of kooks and geeks and freaks who are just like him. So they all have to inflict their misery on society, are just, trying to have a constitutionally limited democratic republic. We're trying to get through the day, have a job, a roof over our heads, a job that pays a decent living. Live and let live. If you want to form a marriage contract with somebody of the same peepee, live and let live. But then you got this Dennis Prager kook telling you who's going to hell, what's real, telling us that this ancient book of fables is real. But missing the point, going right to the brother-sister making love? Incredible. Making love.
That they're going to produce mentally retarded offspring?
Everything about this
takes many generations of
requires
there is no secular.
Requires the most learned psychologists and psychiatrists of Earth to get together and crack the code here. But it doesn't take much. You really don't have to be Freud to figure out what's going on in the Republican manias, in their own private apocalypse in their minds. He's, I don't know him clearly, but he's sexually repressed. He wants to, fuck his sister maybe? Or maybe, he wanted to, maybe he did. He touched his little sister. Like, if he has a sister, I don't know, but like Josh Duggar, same thing. Oh, well, what did the Duggars say? He was just curious about girls. So he would sneak into their room in the middle of the night and molest them. And then he also molested family friends. And then not just young girls, babies. I'll hold the baby. And he would molest the baby. Disgusting. These people are disgusting because, you know what? You're not meant to be repressed like that. You're not, they so hate humanity that they want it. I mean, it's because it's very scary. That's what it comes down to. They are afraid of the scary, complex world. And the ancient book of fables sort of makes sense to them. It makes them understand the understandable, the unfathomable, excuse me. That's what I meant. To them. They can't, it makes sense. Okay, well, these are rules to live by. I hate myself. That's what, Dennis Prager hates himself because of his sickness. Maybe he's gay. Maybe, and worse than that, I'm sure, not that being gay is worse. I'm gay, but I'm saying he might also be something far worse than anything, which is being a pedophile. Is like the lowest of the low. Who thinks about this? Who even says making love to your sister. Who puts it like that? It's like that guy that called gay. This was years ago. He called gays hedonists. I always forget that guy's name. Saying, that gays are hedonists. And that said it all to me. Really because to him, it meant, being a hedonist is somebody who indulges in pleasure. So clearly, he can't help it, but reveal the fact that he's gay. And this was one of the most anti-gay, homophobic asshole. I can't remember the guy's name. Who was he? Oh, man. Republican? And I was like, damn, he really just wants to fuck a guy. I know, we're getting really raunchy tonight. But he should. They should. They just get the arms of a big, strong man around you already.
Argument against adult consensual incest.
Consensual incest? Argument. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Making love to your sibling. And his voice, too, it got a little bit more Barry White as he's talking about it.
Do that. There is no secular argument against adult consensual incest. There's a religious argument. Sex cannot enter family life. It's a big taboo.
Yeah, because it's dirty, dirty, dirty. Right, Fred? Whatever the hell your name. What is? No, Dennis. Somebody wrote. Who wrote Fred? Fred Phelps. Somebody on the chat.
See, people think that we could live without the greatest source of wisdom and morality in the history of the world, the Bible.
Oh, yeah. So think. Great. The greatest source of history, morality.
Some secular conservatives think that.
Have you read the Bible? He's talking about fucking his sister. And there's incest all over the Bible. Isn't there a story where the two sisters went and fucked their father? Let's see. Depraved Bible stories. Let's see. Here's a few. The raunchiest, most depraved sex acts from the Bible. Number 6. Lot has drunk sex in a cave. Oh, that's it. With his daughters. Sunday school lessons tend to focus on God turning Lot's wife into a pillar of salt, like she's one of Sarah Connor's nightmares from T2. But the sort of imagery that might distract you from something like flagrant incest from Genesis. And Lot dwelt in the mountain, and 2 of his daughters with him. The firstborn said to the younger, "There is no man in this earth to come in to us. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father." And they made their father drink wine. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she rose. And it came to pass on the morrow, the firstborn said, "Behold, I lay yesternight with my father." Yeah, nothing, no harm, no foul. He was drunk, right? And you were drunk? Whatever. That's you get one. You get a pass, especially if your sister's involved. Let us make him drink wine this night also. Well, maybe 2 nights you get a pass. And thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve the seed of our father. Why would you even think about that? I don't want to. I don't want to think about my father's seed. Jesus Christ. These Christians are sick. Number 5, Jacob, 2 sisters, and what the hell, a handmaid. In Genesis, Jacob had taken a job where he was to be paid entirely in women. His boss promised his daughter Rachel in exchange for 7 years of work. After the 7 years, Laban pulled a fast one and swapped out his ugly daughter for the pretty one. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go unto her. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him and went into her. And he gave his daughter Leah, his maid, for a handmaid. And it came to pass, whatever. In the morning, behold, it was Leah. Unless Leah and Rachel were identical, the Mary-Kate Ashley variety, there's little reason why Jacob wouldn't realize fairly early on in the process he had the wrong sister. Yes, let's see. Number 4, God gives you tips how to hold your load. If you ever heard masturbation referred to as onanism, O-N-A-N-I-S-M, well, you've got one guy to thank. Onan was apparently one of the pioneers in the art of ejaculating somewhere other than into a sex partner, as we see in Judea 38:8-10. And Judah said to Onan, Go on to thy brother's wife and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that seed should not be his, and it came to pass. Can you imagine reading this shit and thinking it's real? I would just read it as an anthropological glimpse into history. You don't take it as, gospel, so to speak. That he spilled, wait, what? He spilled it on the ground lest he should give the seed to his brother? Huh? And the thing which he did displeased the Lord. Oh, shit. Maybe that's why masturbation is a sin. Wherefore he slew him. So God slew this guy for jerking off? Really? That seems a little bit, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And what crime? I mean, hello? Of course, a sick-ass church would be more concerned about whether you masturbate than, ensuring that everyone has health care. Jesus Christ, for real. I thought she was a prostitute, but she was my daughter-in-law. That's number 3. When Judah saw her, this is from Genesis 38:15-16. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned to her by the way and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, there's a lot of fucked up shit happening in this Bible. Number 2, Solomon gives boobies 10 fingers up. Let's see. He shall lie all night between my breasts, his left hand under my head, and his right doth embrace me. Okay, I only have 2 minutes left. And then number 1, gods and girls. So you'll notice that most of these are from Genesis, the early days of the Bible, when apparently mankind was experimenting with just how creepy and weird sex could be. But probably nothing in the book tops what happens in Genesis 6:4. Just to be clear, because there's some kind of confusion, let's see. We know a suspicious amount of information about sex. but are not doctors. So what is it? It says, there were giants on earth in those days, and when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, they bore children. The same became giants, mighty men. Holy moly!
There's no secular argument against adult incest. Brother and sister want to make love.
Holy moly.
What's your argument?
What's my argument? It's disgusting. Like republicanism, we will win. We are on the right side of history. Yeah, we're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Come on and hang out. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Hang out in the greatest chat room in American history at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. We will win. We only have a short time to save America. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. Oh my God. What a world we live in. I'm just sick of the sickness of republicanism. You know? Inflicting their manias. And that guy can talk about brothers, sisters making love and shit, and nothing will happen because there's no low too low. There's no barrier. There's no standards anymore. Oh, shit. All right, guys, listen up. I gotta go. I can't hang out too much because I gotta go get these kittens squared away for the evening. And I have other things to do. Like get the show prepared for Progressive Voices. But we'll have a show during the week. This week, I promise. All right? In the meantime, if you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/Tara. Thank you for your super chats, Jim and Richard and Mark and all the patrons who keep the show going. And thank you all for all your kindness, your notes. Thank you, Greg, for your kind note and your support. And yeah, keep the kind notes coming. I get a lot of nasty notes, but I like the kind ones. The nasty ones are also validation, though. Yeah, I got some guy trying to prank me all the time, too. Somehow, somebody got my phone number. Guess you can get anything out there. But look at this. I got a lot of calls, even during the show. It happened during the show. I think I have a suspicion. I know who it is, but I have some new technology that blocks all kinds of nonsense, and it's nice. It's good. So go fuck off. Get a life. Don't you understand that if you're, to me, it's validation, and it also means that, I'm doing it correctly. If there's, if that's what you're doing, right wingers, it's another example of how they have nothing. They have zero to offer, that they're just trying to annoy people. And go do something. Go fucking volunteer somewhere, right? Do your own show. You don't like my show? Go do your own show. Oh, because you know what happened? I guess whoever has my number, I got a call from some place in New Jersey and I was like, what is this? And they said, oh, this is a mental health facility or whatever. So somebody, I guess, called them spoofing my number, and then they called my number back, right? So, and I said, oh, I didn't call. It must be someone playing a joke or something. And then, but I thought, that's what you're doing? And it's, and I guess I'm supposed to say, oh, I'm mentally ill. Like, this is mental illness to want to ensure that a functioning democracy survives, or that everyone doesn't have to needlessly die without health care, right? That's cuckoo. living wages, decent middle class life, going back to a country that wasn't the least upwardly mobile. Remember when we were the most upwardly mobile with the slightest income gap? Oh, that's just cuckoo. And you understand that you're the cuckoo. The people, whoever it is that does that goes out of their way, just like the Greg, who went out of his way to send me a nice gift and note. Right? That's somebody went out of their way to. Okay, I guess I'm renting a lot of space in your head. But why don't you ask yourself? What's so cuckoo about having a country that works for more than just a con man who received fewer votes? You know, the one with the fake university and the vitamin scam. I don't know. But anyway, all right, I gotta go. I've been looking at this computer since the crack of dawn, and my eyes are full. And I'm not even done yet, so. All right, listen up. Listen. Thank you for hanging out again. Like I say, I can't do it without you. I really look forward to seeing you, and I will see you during the week. I'm not sure what day, but don't worry. Maybe Wednesday. How's that sound? All right. Yeah, they do. Paradu says they hate themselves and they can't help it. And that's it. That's why they lash out. They inflict their manias outward. They're not evolved enough to look at themselves. Like Dennis Prager, he's not evolved enough. They're not, none of them. Like Steve Scalise, none of them are evolved enough to say, to have integrity. They're not evolved. To be like, I can't do this. I went through this traumatic experience with Nancy Pelosi, and she was on the phone trying to get us help. I can't stand here in front of the American people and lie about her. But he does it but there's no apology. Anybody look at his Twitter feed? Any apology? Being a Republican means never saying you're sorry, even when you're caught. You're fucking caught in the act of being yourself. An immoral scum, bottom feeding, bottom crawling, con man's lickspittle, who enables an insurrection filled with morons, dupes, freaks, geeks, monsters, dumbasses, Nazis, and those who literally took a shit in the Capitol. You are a disgrace. All of you. It is. They're indefensible. And thank you, Ed, the second, for your super chat. Right under the wire. Yeah, they are indefensible. And thank you, guys. Do me a favor. Hit the like and notification bell. So next time the show goes live, you'll be notified and you can come and hang out. And remember, yeah, we will win. I gotta go. Look at me. My eyes are like bloodshot. My eyes hurt, actually. I hope I'm not getting sick. Ugh. I think I need to close my eyes and to stop looking at things today. It's over. I've seen enough for one day. Oh my God, get out of here, Drifter. Thank you for your amazing, very generous super chat right under the wire. Drifter's Road to Numbness says, I can't become a patron right now, but I appreciate your work. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very generous and kind, and your words are really needed, and much appreciated. That's really nice. Thank you. We will, we'll see each other again soon. But yeah, you hang up. No, you. You hang up. No, you. All right, guys. My name is Tara Devlin. We will win. Yes, I know. Thank you, Drifter. Very nice. We stick together. We win. I'll see you